Welcome to Deep Thought, Spiritual Connections. Spiritual Connections. I wanted to get really deep into the the spiritual side, the more intangible side of relationships. Because, of course, people are really focused on the outer part. And I'm going to get more into that in the next episode. But I wanted to talk about the spiritual side of it. Like, you ever just be around somebody, like if you're a man, be around that woman, or a woman, you be around that man, and they might not be whatever you consider your type, as far as their looks, how they dress, even their social class or subculture. But you feel a connection to them. You feel a click with them. You feel something spiritually. You two can talk, and it's like, wait a minute, we can talk about whatever. This is spiritual. I'm going to tell you what, that's very important. Now, remember in my last episode, I talked about everyone has a broadcast, and that's nonverbal. Sometimes people can connect without saying a word to each other. Like if you in a club or something, and you could tell that, you know, a man's on this side of the room and a woman's on this side of the room, yet you can see the connection between them. In fact, I remember when I was working on one of my 1,000 jobs, it was at a gym, there was a couple who were together. And you could feel the connection between them. It's almost like you saw an energy beam that was connecting their hearts. That's a spiritual connection. That's when you connected more on an intangible basis. Now, I don't have anything to do, you know, you know how it is nowadays. People say, well, how much money do you have? Or how do you look physically? Or what's your credit score? What kind of shoes you got? And you know, people looking at that, but then there's that spiritual connection. You ever meet that person and they probably ain't your physical type, but y'all click. Y'all click. Yeah, it's something. You can't figure it out. It was like everything on the surface says y'all two shouldn't be together. But y'all have that spiritual connection. Y'all, something. Y'all just click. Y'all can talk. You feel something. You feel comfortable. Y'all have similar broadcast. And I'm gonna tell you what. That is very powerful. That is very powerful. Like I know a couple, and actually an interracial couple, but I was looking at them and I was like, y'all look just alike. But they just have a connection. They just have a powerful connection. Whenever you see them with each other, you just like, wow. But see, their connection is more spiritual. Their connection is more spiritual. In fact, it's not about how much money he has, because in fact, she had more money. She was actually doing better financially than he was. But yet she clicked with him. There was an actual click there. You can see that when you're around them, the way they talk with each other, you can just sit back and listen to them. That's a spiritual connection. And that's very important. That is very important. That is something that's really needed. That's something that's happening, because there's plenty of relationships. They don't have a spiritual connection. They have something outside. Like I said, I'm outside of it. It's more based on their material goods, like maybe their social class, or maybe how much money they're making. And you're like, you know, you don't feel anything. If you're around them, you don't feel the connection. In fact, there might not be a connection, and they can't figure out why. They're not connected spiritually. Because I'm going to tell you what, with relationships, there has to be a spiritual connection. There has to be something. If you're talking about relationships. Now, if you're talking about just having sex or just a quick hookup, maybe even a date, oh, okay, whatever. But if you're talking about a relationship, y'all relating to each other, y'all talking to each other, y'all can be with each other. Even during bad situations, y'all can work out it. Y'all can have a bad situation with each other. Y'all can work out the problem. That's a spiritual thing. And indeed, some people would say, some people who believe in past lives will say, well, you know what? They might have been in past lives. Those who believe in it. Everybody doesn't believe in it. But it's still spiritual. And and when I say spiritual, I don't mean they practicing the same religion. Because one thing I'll say about religions, people can practice the same religion, but have two different spiritual things with them. So that don't mean anything. And in fact, I would say that's why when you see many couples and they look alike, you just like, yeah, they right together. But is it that they look alike? Or is it that there's something spiritual? They just click. Their personalities click. Their personalities fit with each other. That's a very important thing. And they have that connection. They have that connection. They can finish each other's sentences. They are really working together. Shoot, they might, even sexually, the best sex is when there is a spiritual connection between the two. The best sex. I want y'all to think about that. How powerful that is. But of course, in the society that we have now, in the culture we have now, especially in Western culture, we're not clicking on that level. We're not clicking on that level. And that could be really a problem. In fact, even people who call themselves religious, that's still on the surface. Spiritual means that it's deep inside. Spiritual means that even when you grow older, looks change, you still together. There's still that connection. And I've seen a few couples that have that, not most couples. In fact, I would say that a lot of relationships aren't working because of that. I would say that. I would say that. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I'm just speculating. I don't know for sure. But that's one of the things that you want to think about. You want to pay attention to. You want to really think about it. Like when you dealing with somebody, okay, yeah, y'all got that same physical thing. Y'all might find each other physically attractive and y'all dress well and everything. But is there a spiritual connection between you? All right? I want y'all to think about that, and I'm going to get deeper into it tomorrow. All right? So anyway, that's all I have for today. I'll get back with you. Peace and blessings.